Right, we're back with part 2, and this is all about the bass this time. Last time we went through the drums, we chose the break, we chopped it up, we arranged all, added effects. So this is, in my opinion, my favourite part of this sort of genre, and it's really, really simple stuff. It is just an 808 kick and nothing more, but it's really clever processing and the way you sort of write your notes. So let's dive in and have a little look. I'm not going to go play the track again. You will have, if you haven't heard it, then go back on the playlist, go to the first video, and that's just a little trailer of the track itself. So this is literally all about the bass line, and like I mentioned, it's really simple stuff. Anyone can do this, but it's a few clever processing tricks that I want you to take on board. So let's dive in. Right, so I'll play it from here. So you can see straight away that the loop itself, the breaks loop, has a nice kick in it, and it's got quite a decayed bass on it already, so that's a nice layer to start with. But here, that's the 808 kick coming in, and I'll talk to you a little bit around what I've done for this. So let's stop that and let's have a look at the actual MIDI clip itself. So first thing, that's the pattern, but the first thing I did was, every sample is different in the note, and I want to do is, because I like to see things on the piano roll, and I like to know that if I'm pressing G on the keyboard or on the piano roll, I want to know that's a G. So I tuned the kick first. So I've dropped the 808 kick sample into a sampler, which you can get from your instruments on the left hand side, instruments and sampler. And if I look on this filter in the global section, I've transposed it up 7 semitones, which is a perfect fifth. I have detuned it slightly because it wasn't just perfect. So if I play it on solo for you, you can see there that if I put the tuner on, which is another handy Ableton effect, I was adjusting the semitones and adjusting the detune just so it got as close as I can to G, and that is literally as close as I could get it. So it's not far off. So that means when I go onto the clip, when I dial in G, which is my root note for this, because I'm working in a G minor scale, then I know that is pretty much a G. So the notes I've chosen, 1 octave up, which is G3, so 12 semitones, and then I went for the D, which is 7 semitones up, which is the perfect fifth. So the combination of an octave between the root note and then the 7th semitone, the perfect fifth, is a really good sort of bass for the pattern that you're going to make. So it's literally 3 notes, but I've used the root note as the most reoccurring note, as you probably see, which is common in most bass lines. Then the octave up, the G3, just gives it that sort of that high pitchedness, which is really common in these sort of jungle drum and bass sort of tracks. So next, what we've done, I put the scale function on. I quite like that MIDI effect. So I'm not got no music theory really at all. So I chuck the MIDI effect, which you can go to MIDI effects there, scale. You're probably thinking, when you look on this, you're thinking, right, that's C minor, but where's G? I'm in G here. Why can't I find it? But you got to chuck this, because C is the beginning point. So you chuck the C minor on, then adjust the bass to the minor scale that you want to work with. And how the scale function works is it means it corrects you. So if you press a key on your keyboard that isn't in the G minor scale, it'll choose the closest note to it. So that's that bit. Next up in the this effects chain, this is the golden ticket to this. Creating an audio effect rack to allow you to compress the lower part, the bassy end of this. So let's have a little listen to it. I'm going to play it from here. So without this, and I'll take the saturator off. So that's what, and I'll take this R bass off as well. So that is basically the raw 808 kick. And then when you get this audio effects rack on, what I've done here is I've put on the compressor and then I highlighted it and then pressed right click and group, and that will put it into the audio effect track. And then once you click this little thing, I think it's one of these, then you'll see your chain, then you just right click and duplicate, so you've got 2 layers of it now. So then you can affect one of the chains. So in this one, you'll be able to see that if I just open that out again, in this top, so you can see I've used the EQ3 to split the frequencies, and I quite like it because the EQ3's got this really nice natural curve to it rather than using the, I don't know, filter, for example, or the EQ8. So the top one is I'm compressing the bass bit. So you can see at the EQ3, I've soloed just the low end, and I've adjusted where the bandwidth is, which is obviously I've set it at 129 hertz here, which I thought was a good part to solo. And then the compressor on, I've just pulled down the threshold, I've left the makeup on and letting it compress just that low signal. On the next part of the chain, which is the higher end, I've just I've killed off the lows and just focusing on the mids and the highs, and with that that just will split it up there. So it's quite good with these changes because you can use the volume and sort of mix it in together how much more of the low end you want. So you can use this trick across all different types of sounds that I've got, sounds reaching for quite a lot of the frequency spectrum. So if you're going from lows to mids to highs, you can split it all up with these sort of effect tracks and EQs. So that is with the audio effect track on. And then with if I go to the saturator, this gives it that sort of roughness, that rawness, that sort of resonance which you need for it to poke through. And I think the saturator really sort of grabs onto that G3 note, that's 1 octave up from the root note. So that is, I've just drove the drive up and I've drove the bass up as well. So with this, I have put on, this is a good little VST plugin I use from Waves. It's called the R bass, and what this does is it adds resonance or harmonics, I should say, to whatever frequency that you do choose, and you can then affect the intensity of it. So I found that using my EQ analyzer that I wanted to push that 45 hertz bit. So we'll go back onto that without it on. It really just warms it up. So if you're watching this and you haven't got Waves, then this one would be a really good one to get. So it's probably one of my go-to bits of the Waves plugins bundle. Next up is the EQ. So I've boosted the 100 hertz area just so I can really hear that thump coming through. Taken away some of the highs and then got rid of some of the extra lows, because anything really under 30 hertz is really inaudible and it can really be too much for a club, especially on bass heavy tracks like these. So utility just to drive the volume down. So that is pretty much it. There's no actually there's one thing I want to go on to which I nearly forgot about, which is the pitch bend, which is a really sort of old school trick for drum and bass and jungle. So if I go onto the clip and I turn on the automation, actually I'll go on the clip itself, and then we'll open up the envelopes on this side, so this little button here, and then we go into MIDI control and then pitch bend, and you can see there that I have just using the automation bar, I have dialed in a bit of a pitch bend with automation curve, and if you haven't sort of stumbled across this way, you can get this nice bend. You just need to hold Alt and then hang on to if you look here, when it goes blue like that, then press Alt and then you can sort of bend it like that. So quite a good little feature if you haven't done it. So you can see it sort of really pitch bends that, and I think that's it's so this sort of music really, and you will have heard it in many old 90s tracks and things, and a lot of people just don't know how to recreate it. So you click on the clip itself, you open up the envelope, choose MIDI control, pitch bend, and then draw in some automation curves where you like it. So you can really hear it there, and it gives it that sort of woomph bit there, which is, I love that. So there you go. That is pretty much it. I knew this was going to be a really short video because there's only one bass line. It's just the kick from the loop itself, which has got a bit of bass on it, and then just this 808 kick using 3 notes: the root note, an octave up, the perfect fifth, which is 7 semitones up from the root note, pitch bending, and then this really clever frequency splitter rack where you can compress your lows. Don't forget your saturator for this sort of sound because it's about that sort of rawness, that roughness. So hope you've enjoyed it. Then what will be up next, we'll be going through some of the synthy sounds, and so I'm going to hopefully drop this later on in the week. But if you like the video, you know what to do. Subscribe, hit the like button, drop a comment on if you've got questions about this style of music or any type of production. I'm always open to speak to, so drop a comment, I will always reply. And don't forget to check out the Instagram page, which is at BTDJ_Academy. There's loads of good stuff on there that's not on YouTube. Loads of carousel slides to save as well. So thank you very much for tuning in again, and make sure you catch the next one when your notification comes up. Some big news coming shortly for the Academy page. We are putting together a subscribers hub where we're going to be hosting content, not only from yourself, but video tutorials from guest DJs. We're going to have webinars from industry specialists, anything from social media managers, right from the tour managers to publicists, you name it, they're going to be in it to help people out. It's going to be a community of like-minded creatives where you can get close and personal with industry-leading people that can help you towards your career. So get your name and email on the website, so breakthroughdj.co.uk. submit your name and email to be notified of the launch. Anyone who sticks their email address in this will get a promo code sent through, and it'll be worth your while, I'll tell you.